Welcome to Forensic Friday.
Where we examine the intersection of true crime, psychology, and the heart of being human in the middle of it all. We are back.
We're back. Did you get my pictures of Gray's pictures today?
Yes, they're absolutely gorgeous. She's stunning. Best baby. Best baby. Nat had an interview with the 700 Club,
Yeah,
which is not my favorite thing, but I'm really happy that you did it because
it was fun.
it's fun.
It's weird. Like the interview part is fine because, it's just about the flood. But then we have to like reenact some things.
I just had a hard swallow. Sorry, Karen. Because this has gone so well for you guys before.
Yeah, with our Bojo's commercials.
Yeah, I don't know if we've talked about this on
Okay,
the podcast, but Nat and Preston did a Bojo's commercial, and
we've
they're
done 4.
reenacting the reenactment that they did at Bojo's. It's hilarious.
We did 4 Bojo's commercials. The first one was awful. The last 3 were 2 or 3. I can't remember if we've done 3 or 4. The last few have been much better. The last one is cool because we were rafting
Yes,
and we didn't have to act. We just ate pizza and press and jumped in the river.
which is what would happen on a normal day.
Exactly. So that one
Yeah.
was easy and it's actually kind of cool. The first one is terrible and we actually joked about it today. And Preston like snapped his head to look at me. They're like, look surprised. And he's like, so bad.
Yeah, I mean, neither of you are actors, you know, but I mean, it looks like Miss Grace did her job today very well.
You just looked really cute.
How do you reenact it? You're not in the slot canyon. So what does that look like?
Oh, it didn't look great. I mean, I think they'll be able to do it. It's not like a ton of stuff that they did, but they like got some footage of us walking through a river.
They got you to get in a river?
It was like to my ankles and it was not rushing.
I couldn't
No.
talk about it on the drive home without giving you a panic attack.
I know, no rushing. Well, we were in a really soft part of the river.
Okay. Well, that's
Like
good.
there was no way anything was crazy was going to happen. Yeah.
I'm
So
like,
that
what
was
kind of
fun.
drugs did they have that could get you back in a
I
river?
know, right? Well, we did go to one part that was pretty bad from the snowmelt, and I was like, not getting close. And they're like, no, we're not going to do that. But yeah, that was fine. It was fine. Here's the thing. Grandmas watch it.
You know what? And we love the grannies.
Yeah, no one like our age is going to watch this. They might now because they're hearing us talk about it. So don't judge me if you go watch it.
But did they ask for money after?
No,
Just prayer.
no,
Good.
no, there's nothing like that.
Here's the truth. God saved you on the river. God and DeMarcus saved you on the river.
100%.
So
God instilled Marcus to save me on the river. I swear.
that's exactly right.
No one else had the guts that he did.
No, and I'm forever grateful.
Me too. And I'm
Forever.
telling you, there were many people on that on that piece of land
Who didn't jump in?
who did not jump in.
Mm-mm. No. Well done, sir. We still love you very much.
Yes,
Forensic bestie for life.
for life. He doesn't listen to anything, but that's okay.
Yeah, it's fine. He's just living his best life,
He's like 20 years old doing his thing.
doing his thing. His
Yeah,
little
he
handsome self running around,
saves
saving
a
lives.
life. He's like, no big deal.
No biggie.
I'm gonna just do me.
Ugh, it's a good man.
I know.
Well, I have a case for you
Okay, let's
that
go.
is just kind of juicy and
Mm.
light. If I dare say light as these can be.
Okay.
Okay. So here's what I want you to do. We got to get a picture. So it's summer. It's hot for
Okay.
Colorado. Okay.
Okay.
But I want you to picture like the Bahamas. You got breeze, right?
Got it. I'm gonna have to Google Bahamas.
Have you not been to I don't think I've been to the Bahamas. I've been to the Caribbean.
I've been to the Caribbean.
I think the Bahamas are next to the Caribbean.
Very similar.
Very similar. Steel drums, waves, all the things, right?
Love this.
Beautiful. So, this is about Lindsey Shiver,
Okay.
who was a former beauty queen, and she was married to Robert Shiver, who played in the NFL and mother of three. And they had this like picture perfect life together, beautiful family, adorable children, the whole nine, right?
Okay.
And he was a long snapper in the NFL. So he retired. I don't know how long he played in the NFL, not terribly long, but what people don't know is long snappers actually make a butt ton of money. And you
Hmm.
don't have to be like, it's not like being one of the really key position players where you're running, tackling, that kind of thing. But
Hmm.
it's pretty technical. And if you get good at it, you can actually make really good money. They had a lot of money,
Hmm.
lots and lots and lots of money. So on the surface, everything looks really beautiful.
Right.
Everything looks beautiful. They met in college at Auburn in
Okay.
2007.
That tracks. I Googled her. She looks very Auburn-esque.
I know she's like a lovely, like Southern Belle, kind of,
Yes.
right? So, they're in this fitness class. Here's this radiant former Miss Houston County, which is in Alabama, which is a little weird.
Okay.
Beauty queen. She's a cheerleader for Auburn at the
Okay.
time. Really smart, kind of charming. And then you have Robert, the long snapper for the Auburn football team. Very disciplined, athletic. And basically, they met in this environment that really was both of their passions, right? Fitness, they're beautiful, and they're
Hmm.
kind of become sort of this power couple on the campus, right? Everybody kind of knows them and they're in a relationship, for a long time.
Hmm.
Pretty popular. Auburn is a big school, but it's not like some of the other schools that have 100,000 people in the stadium. Michigan's
Okay.
a big house. That's my jam.
Yeah.
Auburn's a little smaller than that, but still big. They got a lot of attention on campus. They decide to get married. So they got married in 2010, met in 2007. They get married in 2010.
Okay.
And he played for the Atlanta Falcons briefly. And then he goes into insurance and he starts making really good money in insurance. And you actually see a lot of former athletes get into insurance because it's such a it's a relationship
Yeah.
driven industry. And so if you're popular and people know who you are and whatever, you can turn that into a pretty successful business. They settle down in Thomasville, Georgia, which is this little southern town. And then they have three little boys, right?
Okay.
Okay. They're taking these lavish vacations with their children. They have a townhouse in a place I'm not familiar with, but this is real fancy. So you could Google this. Baker's Bay Golf and Ocean Club in Great Guyana Bay, Bahamas.
Okay.
So it's not just like a vacation place to go. I mean, it's really like a status symbol.
Yeah.
Real private, very elite. I think I read somewhere, and I may get to this, it was like $5 million to have that place. And then they had a $2.5 million home in Georgia, and they had access to a private jet.
Wow.
And that's important for another part of the story.
Okay.
Okay. This is the kind of life that people really, really envy. See this, and it just looks almost too good to be true.
Hmm.
And unfortunately, what we know, right? Mo money, mo problems.
Yeah. Sometimes.
Right? It is a little bit too good to be true.
Mm.
Basically, the relationship starts to fall apart, and I couldn't find a lot of information about it, but I know a little bit more. I dug into some of what was going on behind the scenes, but they have kind of this buildup of tension, and it kind of culminates in Robert filing for divorce in April of 2023.
Okay.
And he cites adultery. Now, Colorado's a no fault state,
Yeah.
basically. So it
Yeah.
doesn't matter. You can cheat on your partner, you can hit your partner. It's not going to affect the finances of a divorce. It may have an
Mm-hmm.
impact on custody,
Mm-hmm.
But even that is a separate situation.
Yep.
You're
Yep.
not going to get more money because somebody cheated on you, hit you, anything. They try to keep it separate in Colorado.
Right.
That is not true in all of the US, in
Hmm.
all of the states. Some of the states still have old laws around almost like penalties in a divorce
Yeah.
if you screw the other person over. And a lot of it's around adultery. Okay. So Lindsay filed her own papers the next day.
Okay.
So Robert's like, adultery, files, April 2023. Lindsay files the next day, alleging physical and mental cruel treatment and domestic violence.
Hmm.
And she claimed her extramarital relationship began during the separation and was, I love this, quote unquote, legally condoned by Robert. I don't know what that means. Did he sign a paper that said go sleep with this other dude? Probably not, but
No.
that's what she's saying. So all this fighting happens. The home becomes a huge, huge fight. Access to the jet, all the shared assets, things get really, really ugly. So it all builds up, but they're still living together, which you and I know I would live in a motel before I would live
Mhm.
with the person I'm divorcing. But also, a divorce attorney will tell you don't leave the house.
Right.
If you
Right.
leave the house, you're going to have a hell of a time getting back in or getting them to sell or whatever. So we see
Yeah.
this all the time. But they're still in the same house. And then they're preparing to take a trip to the Bahamas with their sons, which is wild.
Yep.
On July 16th, 2023, they get in an argument. It escalates and they're fighting over the private jet.
Hmm.
Lindsay, this was not a good use of a 911 call, but that's fine. Lindsay wanted to use the jet to go to the Bahamas and meet up with her new boyfriend, Terrence Bethel, when she
Okay.
got there. Robert's like, absolutely not.
Right.
Okay, so maybe he legally, I don't even know what that means. Legally condone the relationship. He's like, stay off the jet, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I
Makes
mean?
no sense.
Mm-hmm. So Robert basically said, and I can understand this, I also think it's pretty petty. Um, you can't get on the private jet, and he didn't want to confuse the children by having their mother fly with them only to immediately go off with another man.
Hmm.
Because he was probably going to, the kids were probably going to be there too.
Mm-hmm.
So Lindsay calls 911 from their Thomasville home. In the body cam footage, she can be heard telling responding officers that the situation had become hell on earth. She said that Robert was aggressive, pushing her, even though he denied that to officers. She said he was opening my car and I was telling him not to. It's aggressive behavior, but that's who he is. So we're having a fight this morning. And she was very emotional during the call and described Robert as cocky, full of himself, and that he knows the laws.
Hmm.
The officers, well done, law enforcement in this case, basically told them, hey, maybe y'all shouldn't vacation together.
Right.
Wild. I know. The cops are like, maybe don't go on a trip together. Y'all aren't well.
Mm-hmm.
No charges were filed. Okay.
Hmm.
So the cops are like, don't go on vacation together, but nobody broke the law.
Right.
This was really a pivotal moment in the breakdown in their marriage, and then ultimately why this is the case I'm sharing today.
I'm listening.
Okay. Terrence Bethel, apparently, she met him in the Bahamas and they got connected, obviously, started some kind of relationship. And then we have Farron Newbold Jr., who is a friend of Bethel's. And we don't really know a whole lot about his history. Friend of Bethel's and a little bit of a nefarious character in the whole story.
Okay.
Basically, Lindsay's not in the Bahamas, so I don't know if they went on the trip or not. I don't think they did.
Okay.
Meanwhile, in the Bahamas, there are a few arrests that happen because there was a separate break-in at a bar and grill. So there was a break-in with this Farron Newbold Jr. Okay.
Okay.
In the course of investigating this bar and grill break-in, they find his phone and they're looking through his phone and they find WhatsApp messages
Okay.
from Lindsey and
Hmm.
from Terrence.
Okay.
And on the day
Spicy.
of the 911 call, she had messaged Terrence, kill him. Hmm.
Her husband.
Yep.
Oh.
Uh-huh. So the way that Robert finds out about this is the police go to his home and they tell him, we found these messages. We believe that we have found enough information to suggest that Lindsay was plotting to have Terrence and Farron kill Robert.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And they're split up. Terrence and not Terrence, I'm sorry. Robert and
Lindsay.
Lindsay. Okay.
Robert and Lindsay are going through the divorce. They
Got
had
it.
that 911 call, right? Everything's
Yep, yep, yep.
ugly,
Okay, okay,
but
okay.
nothing's final and they're living in the same home. Robert comes out with a statement and
Okay.
basically says, I'm thankful to be alive, and really talks about how upsetting it is to hear about this out of nowhere. Because I don't care
Mhm.
how acrimonious a divorce is, to hear that your partner made a credible threat to your life is terrifying.
And like basically was trying to, I don't know if she was going to pay him, but basically hire people to do it.
Yes, that
Hmm.
was that was essentially what the claim was. Now, she was kind of given the it's a figure of speech argument, right? And all three get charged with a menagerie of things.
Kill him is
Conspiracy.
not a figure of speech.
Well, I mean, I have been known on occasion to be like, I'm gonna kill him.
Well, yeah, but do you tell other people you should kill him?
No, that's true. I might say don't kill him.
Right.
But
Like
no,
we
you're
all,
right.
I think everyone is like, oh gosh, I could kill them or like whatever, which is like, borderline not great. But I don't think I've ever been like, oh, you should kill him.
Okay, fair. I have never texted you kill him. That
Never.
would be weird. Okay, you're
Yes.
right. You're right. That is weird.
Okay.
Okay, so they all plead not guilty. All three were implicated, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the legal system in the Bahamas is different than America. So there's all kinds of stuff happening. And they put a gag order in place because Lindsay decides, I'm going to do an interview with Good Morning America, which was a violation of her bail conditions. So her bail
Oh
was
my
revoked
gosh.
for a bit.
Okay.
Yes. So a couple things that I wanted to kind of talk about. Oh, I have a little more information. Here's basically what was on the phone.
Okay.
There was the kill him 2-word directive,
Mm-hmm.
photos of Robert that were sent with kill him,
Oh my gosh.
making it clear who the target was. And then some reports suggest one of the photos showed Robert with another woman, but they didn't publicly detail what those photos were.
Okay.
The photos were found in a WhatsApp group chat that included Lindsey Shiver, Terrence Bethel, and Farron Newbold Jr. So they had this little group chat going on,
Hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Lindsey Shiver ultimately ended up admitting that she sent the messages. But her defense, again, was figure of speech. She was frustrated and angry, but not a literal instruction to commit murder. Bethel, Terrence
Mm-hmm.
Bethel, the
Mm-hmm.
boyfriend, right, claimed Lindsay sent the picture to find out if Robert had left their kids unsupervised. So Terrence is like, hey, man, I think she sent the picture for us to like make sure the kids weren't alone.
Right.
Okay. Now that's real dumb.
Jeez Louise.
Right. The Bahamian authorities viewed the messages as compelling evidence of a conspiracy to commit murder. That's why they all got arrested and charged.
That makes sense.
Exactly. Now, couple of questions, and then I'm going to get into kind of where we are today with all of this.
Okay.
What do you think? We've talked about the impact of DV on children. What do you think is the toll on children in these really high conflict divorce cases?
It's terrible on them. I think kids get put in the middle a lot when divorces are really tumultuous. Also, I mean, I don't know. I don't have divorced parents, thankfully, but I think when divorces are really ugly like that, you see the worst side of people come out,
Mm-hmm.
and the kids see that. They experience the worst versions of their parents, in my opinion.
Yes,
And I think it's just ugly for kids. Kids already take on, even if a divorce went, quote unquote, well, kids still take on that pressure.
they do. And one of
So if
the
it's,
things I was just talking to a client about this the other day. We were talking about a high conflict divorce situation, and so much time has been lost in the fighting. Like sometimes parents spend 10 years fighting over the kids, and
hmm
basically they don't end up having that quality time together with either parent. And
hmm
then all of a sudden they're 18 and they're leaving the house, you
hmm
know? And that's not to say we know people who need to fight. There
hmm
are reasons to fight when a child's in danger or
Yes.
not a sustainable emotional circumstance for a child, that kind of stuff.
Yes.
But a lot of the time, and wouldn't you say not most of the time, some kind of peaceful co-parenting, even if the houses are different, even if you don't love how they do things over there, if it's good enough parenting happening both places, if you can co-parent, isn't that better for a kid?
Yeah.
But I think, here's what I think happens. I think people want to win. I think it
hmm
stops being about the kids at some point and it becomes, I'm going to win. I'm 40 grand deep. I'm 60
hmm
grand deep into this custody battle. I'm going to win.
Yeah.
And that makes me sad because
Yeah.
kids just they love their parents, you know?
They do. And in situations like that, it's just ugly. Kids take on a lot of the pressure already. Even, like I said, even when it's not a bad one.
Well, and then you have the whole parental alienation battle,
Right.
which is why therapists bob and weave to stay out of the court system.
hmm
Because a lot of times in the process of trying to prove parental alienation, they in fact alienate their own children.
hmm
So typically when I'm hearing about parental alienation, it's become this like lightning rod term to a degree that the courts are using it a little bit less often. And it's become like a rallying cry on social media.
Right.
This is alienation, that's alienation, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
The whole divorce process is alienation. So there
It's
is a real
terrible.
thing. There's a
Yeah.
real targeted thing that some people do with their children to try to really keep them from the other parent. And that does happen sometimes.
hmm
But again, like more often than not, I think the parents just end up fighting over kind of nothing. And then they both end up doing the thing they're
Yeah.
accusing the other person of.
Yeah. Yeah.
What would you say to somebody, Nat, who's in a really contentious divorce and they're living in the same space?
Oh,
Because I
get
bet we
out.
have a lot of listeners going through a divorce who are sharing
Mm.
space.
I mean, let's just say I had a client. I don't think I
Hmm.
do right now that's going through that. But let's just say if a client came in and said, and this was their situation,
Hmm.
I would explore options
Hmm.
that they had to get out of that house.
Hmm.
Because the longer they stay in the home, the
Hmm.
more toxic and unhealthy it's going to get between the two of them. And then you have to obviously include the kids in that.
Yes.
So I would explore every single option of what they had. If they didn't have any options, don't fully believe that people don't have options. I think people just get stubborn and don't want to leave,
I see that.
you know? And if they have money, like, I don't
I
know.
know. Well, that's one of the things for me that is a red flag is there's so many people who literally just cannot afford
Yes,
cannot afford to have two places.
right. That makes sense. But it sounds like these people had money
They had
and
money.
came from money.
They had money and came from money. Now, what do you think of this arrangement? So, Gina on Orange Real Housewives of Orange County, she's one of my faves. Hi, Gina. Please listen to us. I know your bestie also has a true crime podcast. There's room for both of us.
We
Um,
can all exist together.
we can all exist together. Actually, somebody commented on our social media that's another true crime podcast, and they were really nice about our when we hit 20,000 downloads. And I was like, oh,
Aw,
very supportive. Like, there's room for everybody. We
love
celebrate
that.
all the wins. I was like, we love you. I'm
Yes.
gonna start listening to you today.
Yes.
So, anyway. long story, ADHD. So long story short, Gina on Real Housewives did this thing where they had like a casita. She called it the casita, this little house, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she and her ex would take turns. She had her own place, he had his own place, but they took turns going in and out of the family home. So the kids always were home.
Mm.
What do you think of that option? Because that one is okay, in theory, better for the kids, but what are some of the
Hmm.
complications and good things
And
about
where's
that?
the casita? Or where'd you say the
Like in
casita
the
was?
same neighborhood. It's like imagine another house kind of in the same
Oh.
neighborhood, but it was like a little place, like almost as if they each had an apartment, but then they keep the family home for the kids as long as they could to be in the same place while the divorce was happening.
Well, were they nasty to each other?
They did have some hard things, and there was domestic violence towards the end. They actually co-parent beautifully now, though.
Okay. Okay. I mean, I that's better than living in the same home.
That's kind of what I think. There's some weirdness about like still sharing a space,
Sure.
but
I've actually heard of a lot of co-parents who do that,
mhm,
where they can still share a space, but they don't live together.
yes.
And that's okay. If
But then
that's
the
the
kids
best that
aren't
you
putting
can
their stuff
do.
in a bag and going back and forth. I mean, there's some benefits to that.
Yeah, and if that's the best you can do
Hmm.
to be your healthiest self, but also co-parent, well, then that's fine. But when it's toxic and high conflict and you're
Hmm.
living together,
Hmm.
I just don't think that's healthy for anybody.
Mm-mm. One of the worst cases I ever heard about, this was years and years ago, and it wasn't a client, it was just a case I heard about. There was a domestic violence situation.
Hmm.
There was a protection order.
Hmm.
The offender bought the house across the street.
Oh, that's like power and control.
So power and control, but what do you do? Because it wasn't a violation of the protection order.
Oh
It
my
wasn't,
gosh.
I mean, they weren't within 100 feet or whatever. I mean, they were across the street, pretty big neighborhood, so there was space
Sure, sure.
between the two homes. But can you imagine if your abusive ex moved across the street where they could have bought
No,
your house?
no.
Mm-mm.
What a power move.
What a power move!
That's
And
ridiculous.
then made the claim that it was better for the kids because the kids could just go back and forth. I know. Your
Mm-hmm.
face. Up the street at least, but I wouldn't
I
want you
know,
in the
like
neighborhood.
around the corner, bro. I don't want you to see my house.
No, it's weird. I'd be like,
That's
why are you so
so weird.
obsessed with me? Why are you so obsessed with me? It's
Very
weird.
like Mariah Carey song.
Oh, is that a Mariah Carey song?
Yeah, with Eminem. That was a whole thing.
Weren't they kind of a thing? Or do they just hate each other? He hates her, I thought.
I think he said they slept together and she basically was like, you wish.
I love everything about both of those
There's
things.
all these songs. So the song like why are you so obsessed with me? That's literally about I said literally, I'm so sorry. That is that is about uh Eminem because he said something about her in a song.
Oh my gosh. Well,
I
remember
know.
there was the one, like, was it the VMAs or the MTV Music Video Awards? I can't remember which one it was. But he dissed like everybody in the front row in a song. Like they were all sitting in the front row and it was
Yes.
like boot, 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 boot. He started
Uh-huh.
taking them down one at a time.
Here's the thing. Eminem can diss whoever he wants.
I'm obsessed with Eminem. So are you. I mean, that it is
Yeah,
what it
I
is.
love Eminem. You can diss anyone you want.
I love that he's on like the middle age, like kind grandpa tour. I'm here for this.
I wish I could see him. I would pay money for
If
that.
he comes, we're going.
I don't know. He might be coming. Let me look.
Mm, we're going if that happens because I freaking love him.
Okay.
He's someone who's trying to do a lot of good, I feel like, on the back end of his life. And man, I can respect that.
On the back end of his life.
Have you not heard that?
He said it says Eminem does not currently have any announced tour dates for 2025.
Come to Denver. I'm sure it's like on your top five.
Right?
It's not. It's really
We
not.
could go to Michigan and just stay with my family.
8 Mile. We could see Eminem at
I'd
Eight
be
Mile.
down. I'd be down. Be real sketch, but I'd be down.
I'm gonna wear a bulletproof vest, but
For
we're going.
sure. Oh my gosh. I don't even know if I'd be worried about bullets. It'd be like just people beating me up.
Oh, nobody's gonna beat you up.
I don't
No,
know, man.
no.
Well, so how did this story end?
Okay. Hang on.
We got all off track.
As per usual. Okay. Let's see what happened. She was released on bail in February of 2025
Okay.
for the second time, right? Because remember the first time her bail
Oh,
was
yeah.
revoked.
Yep.
So she's out on bail. Let me see when the trial will happen.
Okay.
Okay, she's 38 now.
Okay.
She posted $100,000 bail. And it's funny, Good Morning America was reporting on this, which is a little bit funny because that's who she did an interview with that got her bail revoked last year.
Mm.
hmm Okay, so when she went on Good Morning America last year, the
Hmm.
judge was pissed. So the judge was Justice Cheryl Grant Thompson.
Okay.
So when she revoked her bail, she said, and I quote, after the Good Morning America interview, "This is a blatant disregard for the court's leniency and indulgence." And what she also said was, "This cannot and will not be tolerated. What the respondents have done," because I guess she and Terrence didn't respect the gag order. Uh, it will not be tolerated. What this has been seen as a spit in the face of justice. Okay, Cheryl, Honorable Cheryl Grant Thompson, she was pissed.
Hmm.
It was clearly laid out that if Mrs. Shiver wished to travel or move outside of the designated area, she was first to contact and request the permission of the court.
Oh,
So she
dang.
traveled without permission too, and then violated the gag order.
Girl needs MRT.
Oh, damn. Okay, so then Nat also, the judge said part of why she ruled to revoke bail was to keep Shiver out of harm's way after a different boyfriend tried to choke and suffocate her with a pillow in Alabama.
Oh my gosh.
So not only did she leave jail, but apparently she got hurt by a different boyfriend during this time, traveled, did things she wasn't supposed to do. So the judge was like, "I'm going to put your happy ass back in jail for your own good."
Yeah, like your actual safety.
Yep, that wasn't great.
Dang.
Uh-huh. I think it's interesting the
She sounds like she
entitlement.
like had like a midlife crisis.
I think she did. I also think
Like
that there's an entitlement here. And you and I have talked about when there's a big financial discrepancy between two partners, it can get really
mm-hmm.
ugly.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not uncommon, especially if Robert was cheated on or believed he was cheated on, because that's allegedly, we don't know.
Right.
All of this is allegedly. She hasn't been convicted of anything.
Yeah.
What they were able to prove was she violated her bail conditions. That's official.
Yeah.
But if she did cheat on him, it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility that he's punishing her by locking down her access to all of these things during the divorce case. That can happen.
Mm-hmm.
Also, sorry, not sorry. Like, if you then are accused of trying to do a murder for hire, nobody's going to feel bad for you that you didn't get to take the private jet to visit your boyfriend.
Yep. Sorry, girl.
Sorry, girl. Like, I mean, that's just not going well for you.
No.
So, anyway, as far as I know, she's still in jail, and I do not see when the trial is going to be. I'm going to check one more place. I'm starting to find my favorite places to go look for updates. Okay, it's been pushed to August.
Oh,
It was
okay.
supposed to be in March, but it got pushed to August.
Okay.
Now, we also have Koberger coming up.
Yeah, Koberger. One of the things, sorry, the thing that I was gonna say, I don't know if this is a good time to share this, but
Mhm.
Ruby, Frankie's daughter, her book dropped.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm listening to it on Audible. It's so far really good.
Is it? Is she doing
Also,
okay?
yeah.
I
I
mean, as
mean,
good
she's
as she
like
can be.
yeah, she's like living her best life and doesn't call her mom mom.
Mm-mm.
Um,
I wouldn't either.
but yeah, no, there's a lot of updates. But yeah, Koberger's coming up. This is coming up. I mean, Karen Reed
Oh,
got,
I was following that so close.
I know, Karen Reed got off. So we got lots going on. And now we have this one.
And now we have this one. I do want to know what happens with this one. So, like I said,
Yeah.
it's kind of light and fluffy because no one died. But also,
That's okay. That's great. She still broke an insane law and
oh yeah.
wanted to kill her husband.
Mm-hmm. Allegedly.
Mhm.
Not just smiled. Allegedly. On that note, pick up your allegedly hats. We're going to be selling
Yes.
at conference. We're probably going to be selling them at CrimeCon in the fall. At Labor Day, we're doing CrimeCon.
Yeah. Order some online, you guys. That's honestly the alleged. Whenever I wear it, I get compliments every time.
Oh, it's the best. I have hot pink. You have green. Gara has black.
Mm-hmm.
And then Preston's going to order his own of some sort. He's going to design his own.
He's just living his best life over here.
He's gonna do him.
He's gonna do him.
So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that case. We will keep you posted on the trial when it comes up in August.
And
And
let us know some of your guys' thoughts too.
oh yeah, I would love to know what you guys think. And we still need the bad dating stories. I want your most heinous
Yes.
plot twist. Yes, give us the tea. We need some. I got to get through the next couple weeks till Nat comes back to work, y'all.
Yes. Give Janine something funny.
Give me something funny. We were working
Something,
all
yeah,
weekend
some
on our PowerPoint. Like we're getting punchy over here. Give us some
yeah, we need some comic relief.
we need some comic relief. So I want the stories. I want to know when you pooped your pants or you got turned around in the parking garage or some guy showed up and he was 20 years older than you thought he was going to be. Like, I want your stories.
Those stories.
Those stories. None of
Okay.
those are specific to me, but I have heard some stories like that.
Oh yeah.
Hmm. So y'all stay tuned. We will see you next week. And as always,
Bye, forensic friends.
I'm Janine.
And I'm Nat.
And as always, thanks for listening and join us next week for more crime, psychology, and heart.